So the Mavs played basketball tonight, or something like it. Um, near the end of the game, I was holding my niece. She's about 6 months, and you know, she's a baby, right? Um, Started hearing a little rumbling in her diaper. You know what I'm saying? And so she filled it up. She did her thing, and quite honestly, I still think the Mavs had a shittier performance tonight. I really don't have much else to say in this open. So let's take a quick break and get into these stats.
Your Highness.
Hello and welcome yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Bibbins. Here, coming to you after the Murder Hornets dismantled and discombobulated the Mavs, just ran straight over us like we did the Clippers the other day. We're going to get through this box score if you'll bear with me. And we're going to start with, I always go by the players who played the most minutes, starting with the starters and then on the bench. So THJ played 27 minutes tonight, 18 points, 2 boards, an assist, and a steal. He was 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and hit his only free throw of the night. One of the few people who had a good shooting night tonight. Probably should have taken more than 10 shots for the first time ever. I'm asking for more THJ shots, which should let you know how the night went. Speaking of bad performances, Jay Rich also played 27 minutes. He had 4 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and a block. He was 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, hit both of his free throws. He did have one of our offensive rebounds tonight, but just a pretty ugly performance from Richardson. Coming off of a great performance in the last game, just could not buy a bucket tonight. You have to wonder if the calf injury that had him questionable early in the day was a factor, but he looked healthy to me. So I don't necessarily want to give him that excuse. We'll see what happens with the next game. We play again Friday. We'll see if he's out. We'll see what happens there. But he was one of the worst. He had one of the worst shooting nights, but he was not the only one to have a atrocious shooting night. Then we move to the other 3 starters who each played 24 minutes. Dwight Powell exploded tonight for 9 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. 2 for 6 from the field, including a missed dunk and a missed layup. 0 for 1 from 3, 5 for 7 from the line. He did have 3 offensive rebounds. And we're just going to move on from that. Dorian Finney-Smith, 5 points, 6 boards, a steal, and a block. 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. He had 4 offensive rebounds tonight. Again, just a bad night. Couldn't buy a bucket. And then finally, Luka having one of his worst games of his entire career, probably, especially since he's taken over the team. 12 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. He was 4 for 10 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, and just has not been able to buy a 3 this year. 4 for 7 from the line, and when he was missing his free throws, that's when I knew he was out of the game, because he had been hitting them this year and reverted back to his old ways at the free throw line, just not taking his time and focusing on the shot. So bad night for Luka, bad night for everybody except THJ in the starting lineup. Then we go to the bench. On the bench, looks like Jalen, Maxey, and Burke all played about 20 minutes. Maxey was hot in the first half. He finished the game with 12 points, 6 boards, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. He was 4 for 5, and they were all threes. And they were all also in the first half. In the second half, he turned into his best version of Seth Curry, passing up shots, just moving the ball, hesitating. I don't know what was going on. When you realize you're the only person making anything, you're supposed to keep firing. Wish he had more of that in him. Wish he had some pump fakes and drives, because if guys are closing out on you harder, you should be able to do that. But not in his arsenal. He did have 1 offensive rebound, and yes, I'm trying to announce whoever had any offensive rebounds because it shows a little bit of effort, I guess. But yeah, Maxey, great first half, disappeared in the second half. Could have used him. Jalen Brunson finished with 16 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and a steal. He was 5 for 13 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 4 from 6 from the line. Did a lot of his damage late in the game when it didn't matter. I was going to say he did it in garbage time, but I guess the entire game was garbage time tonight. It is what it is. Trey Burke was another one of those people who had a terrible night. 3 points, 1 board, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 for 9 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. And again, another guy just could not buy a bucket. James Johnson had 19 minutes clocked tonight and had an eventful night. 7 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He was doing a little bit of everything. Still love him playing that backup point type role and could use more of that in my life. He was 3 for 8 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 3 at the line. Did have 2 offensive rebounds. And he got a tech early in the game when Luka was complaining to the refs, and I guess he took over the complaining and the refs heard something he said and didn't like it. That one was fine. Second tech was for almost getting to a brawl with the Martin twins, and then he was ejected, of course, after the second technical. That was late in the game. Again, I like Johnson. I want to see more Johnson, but again, just a bad night for everybody. Whenever the team decides to show up and play basketball on a regular basis, I would love to see him getting a lot of those backup point guard type minutes. Or even starting, like I said, at the beginning of the season at the 4 beside KP in a Draymond type of role. Josh Green, I complained early in the game about him not getting any minutes. He did end up playing about 12 and a half, a little bit more than 12 and a half minutes tonight. Just 0 for 2 from the field. He did have an offensive rebound. Played some great defense on Gordon Hayward and played with a lot of energy. Great defense on a couple people. His activity, his pressure forced a few turnovers and bad plays from the opposition. So, again, a guy who's going to play hard would have been nice early in this game, but it is what it is. Willie Cauley-Stein still can't get real minutes. Played 9-20 in this one. 5 points, 3 boards. He was 2 for 2 from the field, both dunks. 1 for 4 from the line. He was missing some free throws there. He had an offensive rebound. And I would still say he had a better game than Dwight Powell. He did have 4 fouls in his 9 minutes, which likely was a factor in his playing time. But it was a situation where when we were losing how we were in the first half, you would have expected Rick Carlisle to make a change in the second half, and I would have expected to see Willie Cauley-Stein come out with that starting group instead of Powell, but no adjustments were made, and we came out and played like complete buns straight out of the gate. I think they went on maybe a 16-0 run or something like that early the third quarter, so whatever, man. Anyway, and then finally the garbage time minutes went to Terry Owundu and Boban. Terry had an assist. He missed his only shot attempt, which was a 3. He also missed the free throw on the technical from the Martin Johnson scuffle. Owundu had 6 points, 2 for 3 from the field, hit his only 3, and 1 for 2 from the line. Good energy from him as well. Boban had 2 points and a board, 1 for 2 from the field. You could tell I had no energy going through these stat lines. But let's do it. I got I've started these new segments. Player of the game is something that it was a really tough choice to choose a player of the game. It came down to two guys for me who really stepped up big tonight. I ended up choosing. I felt like I had to. Just a phenomenal game from this guy. Miles Bridges, 20 points, 16 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He was 4 for 6 from 3. Just a tremendous game from Bridges. I can't imagine a player getting 16 rebounds who plays for the Dallas Mavericks right now. Player of the game is supposed to be a Mavs player, right? Yeah, y'all thought I was really going to choose one of them bums to be the player of the game? Nah. Miles Bridges gets the player of the game tonight. Huge night from him, 20 and 16. Like I said, I can't imagine a Mav player getting 16 rebounds based on the roster composition right now. And the way Rick is using his lineups. The second choice would have been LaMelo, 22, 8, and 5 for him with a steal and a block as well. Huge game for him, just really coming into his own. Got to practice against these Dallas Mavericks tonight and just kind of get loose. Both of them kind of got loose, found their game. It was a nice tune-up game for the Hornets as they continue their run towards potentially making the playoffs. Tweeted tonight. I didn't even have the energy to go looking through the tweets to pick a tweet of the night, so none of that tonight. I do want to drop this parting thought tonight. In the post game press conference, there was a lot of talk about Luka this and Luka that, and did Luka this, and do you feel like Luka being out of shape is why the game? No. Yes, Luka not being great and in shape is a factor. It's definitely a huge factor in what's happening to this team. However, Luka was not the only one struggling tonight, and it's really not fair or necessary to try to put it all on Luka being out of shape. I just went through the whole stat sheet. These dudes were missing wide open threes. Now, either you didn't realize everybody else was struggling, or you think Luka is supposed to do everything every night. If you want to completely put everything on Luka. And you know what? That's fine. Either one is fine. I just want you to clarify your position. I personally believe that once Luka saw that everybody was bricking, he needed to put his head down and start making things happen on his own, getting to the line, attacking the basket aggressively. He was getting inside pretty much at will, but then kicking it out to the perimeter for shooters who were not making anything. And at some point, you just got to say F the analytics and put the basket in the hole by any means necessary. That's really where my problems with this team pretty much stem. So I feel like they're trying to win basketball games with equations, and it's sometimes basketball is just about putting the orange circle in the orange sphere in the circle. I'm going to get off track if I go down that road. One thing I'm going to say about Luka, he could use a little adversity. I think he could use a little adversity. I think it's been way too easy for him up to this point. I'm not saying that he hasn't put in work or anything like that. I'm just saying he's had an easy ride. He hasn't had a ton of pressure or pushback, or he hasn't had to fall and get back up. His attitude as a leader of a team is problematic. When you're complaining and whining and crying all the time and you're the leader, it rubs off on the rest of the team and keeps their mood down. We've seen this before. I've seen it in Chris Paul. I've seen it in LeBron early in their careers. You have to set the tone as the guy. He's been crowned this year, and the crown is heavy. He's going to have to get a stronger neck to bear that weight. He's going to have to put in some serious work in off days or whatever to get his body right. He's going to have to get some yoga, some meditation, something to get his mind right. Because an MVP can't be half-assing his way through the season. Teams are going to be at your neck. Tonight, the Hornets drove at Luka every time he ended up matched up on a man. Did he stay in front of his man? Usually, most times he did. But he would put his hands down or drop his hands, whatever, and allow them to get those foul calls, which took him out of the game. Took his mind out of the game. So, again, he has to be ready for people to come at him. On the other end of the ball, he has to know they're going to bring a lot of attention his way. And, again, if your boys aren't hitting, you have to learn how to manipulate them, get to the line, or just go straight to the basket. It's what I saw from Luka in the playoffs against the Clippers is what he should be doing more regularly, especially when guys aren't hitting. When guys aren't hitting, sure, fling that ball around, get everybody involved. But when guys are hitting, do that. But when they're not hitting, you got to step up and take over. I saw one play, a couple plays where Luka hit somebody with a pass and they missed the shot, and he visibly dropped his head or looked off into the stands. That doesn't help your teammate feel better about themselves. That's not encouraging. And again, if you need to take over and be more selfish, that's fine. But don't disparage your guys in the meantime. Lift them up, smack them on the ass. Tell them you get the next one, stuff like that. You can't be visibly upset at a person missing a shot when everybody's cold. Those type of things are bad. And I don't know. We're going to learn a lot about Luka over these next couple of games. I don't know when KP's coming back. Could it be as early as Friday? We don't know. Technically, that's January. I doubt he's coming back that quick unless they just decide that they can't wait any longer because we're not figuring it out. But yeah, and I wanted that to be my parting thought, but I have to say this too. Rick Carlisle's stubbornness is pissing me off. There is no excuse for Dwight Powell to be playing as many minutes as he is. If Willie Cauley-Stein is going to get into foul trouble, then let Willie Cauley-Stein get into foul trouble, then you put Powell in. There is no doubt that Willie Cauley-Stein is a better basketball player. It would make sense, if we're going to be playing like complete buns anyway, to put the better basketball player out there to give us the best chance. Why are we getting off to these ugly slow starts and whatnot? Because guys are just going on a layup drill at the rim when Dwight Powell's on the court. We can't get a rebound when Dwight Powell's on the court. I watched LaMelo Ball rip the ball away from Dwight Powell. Don't care how great a man he is. I really don't. It's about basketball. There is no excuse for him to be playing 20 minutes a night. On any night, on any team. There is no team that plays him 20 minutes a night besides the Mavs. Biyombo could get 20 minutes, and maybe I wouldn't complain as much. Because at least I know he's going to be aggressive on defense. I know he's going to snag boards. I know he's going to beat up the other team's big man. Can't say any of those things about Dwight Powell. I don't like talking about Dwight Powell, but when Rick continues to play him and start him and act like he's a basketball NBA talent that needs to be playing 20 minutes a night, he kind of forces my hand. Like if I was there and Rick was playing me 20 minutes a night and I'm playing like complete cheeks, I want y'all to be talking about me playing like complete cheeks. If I'm out there for 20 minutes a night, getting 2 points, 2 assists with 6 turnovers as the point guard, I want y'all to talk about me being complete buns. because I will have earned it. You don't do this team any favors by acting like players aren't playing terrible basketball when they are very obviously are. And it makes zero sense to anybody. I think when I was watching the Hornets broadcast, even they were confused about the Dwight Powell situation. One, they did applaud his quick recovery, but they didn't have much positive to say about his game. Oh, boy. I'm not trying to see the same starting lineup next game. I'm tired of the midget basketball. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word, right? I'm tired of the small ball crap. It's like you can't play small ball and be confused why you can't get rebounds. The Hornets are better at small ball than us. They out small balled us. They played small ball and their 3 and 4 man were posting up our guys because they still have more girth than us. Washington and Bridges doing whatever they wanted to us. Hold up. I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man. That was a terrible accent because I'm just angry right now. I can't even do accents. We don't have the facilities to deal with a thick small ball lineup. Their small ball is just shorter than normal. Our small ball is short and skinny. It doesn't work. We need some beef, some length with an F on the end, some size, some mass, some circumference. I'm just saying words now. Tired of looking at this team do obviously dumb things that don't work. Rick Carlisle not making any adjustments. The season is short. The league is deep. We can't afford to keep losing like this. I know a lot of teams around the league have been getting blown out. I don't care about teams around the league. I care about my team. If the Clippers game was an anomaly, as many of you should have expected, clearly something's not working with what we're doing. Adjustments need to be made. There's been some slight adjustments on the bench, but for whatever reason, that starting unit does not get tweaked. That needs to change. Something's got to give. Rick can't be this stubborn for much longer. The Heat are not going to play around with us on defense on Friday. They're going to be all over us. May God have mercy on our souls.